I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog.
In a fiery exchange that left the world buzzing, Robert De Niro, the legendary actor known for his unflinching honesty, has once again made headlines with his candid remarks about Donald Trump and Karoline Leavitt. De Niro, who has never been one to shy away from speaking his mind, didn't hold back during a recent interview when asked about Trump's influence on American politics and Leavitt's role in the political sphere. His words were sharp, direct, and filled with the kind of intensity that fans have come to expect from this iconic figure. But what made his comments particularly bombshell-worthy wasn't just the content of his message, it was the way he delivered it. De Niro's thoughts on Trump have always been controversial, but his comments about Leavitt added an unexpected twist to the conversation, leaving many to wonder what the actor's true feelings are about the current political landscape. Let's dive deep into what De Niro said, why it caused such a stir, and what it all means for the ongoing political discourse, the context of Robert De Niro's criticism. Robert De Niro's ongoing criticism of Donald Trump has become a defining feature of his public persona, particularly as the political climate in the United States grew increasingly polarized. As an outspoken critic of the former president, De Niro's sharp words and passionate denunciations have often made headlines, with the actor taking a particularly firm stance on Trump's leadership and personal conduct. From his early days of speaking out against Trump's rhetoric to his more recent declarations, De Niro has consistently positioned himself as a vocal adversary to Trump's brand of politics. One of the main points of contention between De Niro and Trump has been the latter's divisive rhetoric. Throughout Trump's presidency, De Niro was particularly vocal about the former president's inflammatory language, which often seemed designed to stoke division rather than promote unity. De Niro's disdain for Trump's tone was evident in numerous interviews, including a now infamous moment at the 2018 Tony Awards when he declared, during a live speech. This public outburst, which was met with both cheers and boos, encapsulated the depth of De Niro's frustration with Trump's approach to politics. For the actor, Trump's rhetoric was not only offensive but dangerous, as it seemed to exacerbate the already deep divides in American society. De Niro's critique of Trump, however, is not limited to his words alone. The actor has frequently taken issue with the policies Trump championed during his presidency, particularly in areas such as immigration, healthcare, and the environment. Trump's stance on climate change, which many environmentalists saw as dismissive and harmful, was one of the major sticking points for De Niro, who has long been an advocate for environmental causes. The former president's withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, for instance, drew widespread criticism, including from De Niro, who argued that such actions endangered the planet's future. Similarly, De Niro was a vocal critic of Trump's immigration policies, including the controversial zero-tolerance policy that led to family separations at the U.S.-Mexico border. In De Niro's eyes, these policies were not only morally indefensible, but emblematic of a broader disregard for human rights. De Niro's attacks on Trump became even more pointed as the former president's influence on the Republican Party continued to grow. As Trump's grip on the GOP tightened, De Niro's frustration with the state of American politics deepened. In interviews and public appearances, De Niro described Trump as a menace to democracy, accusing him of undermining the nation's democratic institutions and values. De Niro, who is known for his involvement in liberal causes, argued that Trump's brand of populism posed a direct threat to the integrity of American democracy. His belief that Trump's influence continued to resonate among large segments of the Republican base led him to express grave concern about the future direction of the party and the nation. In a more recent interview, De Niro once again reiterated his harsh assessment of Trump, calling the former president a disaster for the country. The actor's comment was made in the context of Trump's ongoing influence on the GOP and the possibility of his return to the political stage. As Trump continues to hold sway over large portions of the Republican electorate, De Niro's remarks served as a stark reminder of the actor's unwavering opposition to Trump's vision for America. The backlash to De Niro's comments was immediate, with some Trump supporters accusing the actor of being out of touch with the country's broader political landscape. Others, particularly those on the political left, rallied behind De Niro, praising his willingness to speak truth to power. Ultimately, De Niro's criticisms of Trump reflect a broader cultural and political divide in the United States. While the actor's vocal opposition to Trump has earned him both praise and scorn, it also highlights the deepening ideological rift that characterizes much of the contemporary political discourse. In a time when political figures and celebrities alike are increasingly taking sides on the issues that define the nation's future, De Niro's remarks serve as a window into the intense passion and division that have come to define American politics in the 21st century. Robert De Niro's comments on Karoline Leavitt. Robert De Niro's decision to comment on Karoline Leavitt, a rising Republican star and staunch ally of former President Donald Trump, marked a shift in his approach to political commentary. While De Niro has long been vocal about his disdain for Trump, his criticisms have typically focused on the former president's actions and policies. However, his remarks about Leavitt went beyond merely condemning the actions of one politician and extended to questioning the future of American politics and the growing influence of extreme conservative voices. Leavitt, a former press secretary to Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, has garnered significant attention in recent years, particularly as a younger voice in the Republican Party. Known for her outspoken support of Trump and his agenda, Leavitt has positioned herself as a rising star within the GOP, appealing to a conservative base that values loyalty to the former president and his controversial brand of politics. Her visibility within Republican circles has made her a figure of interest for both supporters and critics of the party, and De Niro's sharp critique placed her firmly in the crosshairs of his political commentary. During an interview in which De Niro was asked about the future of the Republican Party, he did not mince words when discussing Leavitt's role within it. Describing her as an extension of the same toxic rhetoric that Trump has espoused, De Niro expressed his concern that figures like Leavitt represent the troubling normalization of extremist views in American politics. The actor argued that, rather than providing a fresh voice for the party, Leavitt's rise reflected a deeper, more insidious trend of divisive and hateful politics taking root within the GOP. De Niro's critique of Leavitt was blunt and unrelenting. He argued that she, along with other rising conservative figures, was simply continuing the legacy of Trump's divisive political tactics, but with a younger and perhaps more palatable face. "What I see with people like Karoline Leavitt is just a younger version of the same divisive, hateful politics that Trump has championed," De Niro remarked. "It's like they're trying to continue his legacy of spreading lies and hatred under the guise of patriotism." For De Niro, Leavitt's prominence within the party was a clear indication that the Republican Party was moving further away from moderation and embracing more radical, often misleading rhetoric. The actor's comments drew significant attention, both from his critics and his supporters. De Niro's remarks were seen by many as a bold and necessary intervention in an increasingly polarized political environment, where figures like Leavitt have gained traction by tapping into populist sentiments and championing Trump's legacy. To De Niro, however, the rise of these figures represents a dangerous shift in American politics, one in which truth becomes secondary to political loyalty, and division is embraced as a means of gaining power. By specifically targeting Leavitt, De Niro highlighted the troubling trend of young conservatives adopting the same combative, populist tactics that Trump has used to galvanize his supporters. In De Niro's view, Leavitt was not an outlier in the GOP, but rather a symbol of a much broader problem within the party. While De Niro's critique was largely centered on the ideological alignment between Leavitt and Trump, it also carried broader implications for the Republican Party as a whole. De Niro's comments seem to suggest that the rise of figures like Leavitt signals a deeper ideological shift within the GOP, where the lines between conservatism and extremism are becoming increasingly blurred. Leavitt's embrace of Trump's politics was seen as part of a wider trend in which the Republican Party has moved away from traditional conservative principles and toward a more populist, confrontational brand of politics. De Niro's concerns about this shift were rooted in his belief that the Republican Party, under the influence of Trump and his allies, was becoming increasingly intolerant and hostile to differing viewpoints. The reaction to De Niro's comments was swift and varied. Many on the political right accused the actor of being out of touch with the realities of modern American politics. Some suggested that De Niro's disdain for Trump and his supporters had clouded his judgment, making him less relevant in the current political landscape. Others, particularly within the Republican Party, dismissed De Niro as an elitist Hollywood figure who had no business commenting on the political direction of the country. On the other hand, many on the political left rallied behind De Niro, praising him for his willingness to speak out against what they saw as a growing threat to democracy and political decency. The controversy surrounding De Niro's comments about Leavitt, while not as high-profile as some of his previous criticisms of Trump, highlighted the ongoing tension within American politics. Figures like Leavitt, who represent the younger, more populist wing of the Republican Party, are gaining influence at a time when the political landscape is more fragmented than ever. De Niro's remarks seem to serve as a warning about the long-term consequences of this political shift, signaling that the rise of such figures could have profound implications for the future of American democracy. Whether or not his words will have a lasting impact on Leavitt's career remains to be seen, but they certainly added fuel to an already heated political debate about the direction of the GOP and the nation as a whole. Why Robert De Niro's remarks gained so much media attention. It's not surprising that De Niro's comments have dominated the news cycle. The actor is no stranger to controversy, but his blunt assessments of Trump and Leavitt have amplified the discussion in a way that few other public figures could manage. The timing of the remarks, combined with the high-profile nature of both Trump and Leavitt, ensured that the comments would be plastered across headlines and debated on countless news programs. De Niro is known for his candor, but his unfiltered approach to political discourse is what makes his statements so impactful. In a climate where many public figures are hesitant to speak their minds for fear of backlash, De Niro's willingness to speak truth to power resonates with a large segment of the population. His ability to use his fame to amplify political messages, particularly those critical of Trump, has earned him both admiration and ire. But it's not just De Niro's status as a Hollywood legend that makes his words newsworthy. The intersection of entertainment and politics has become increasingly pronounced, with public figures like De Niro, former athletes, and influencers all weighing in on political matters. As the lines between celebrity and political activism continue to blur, De Niro's remarks serve as a stark reminder of the power that celebrities wield in shaping public opinion. De Niro's critique of Trump and Karoline Leavitt has undeniably had a polarizing effect, with reactions falling sharply along political lines. Supporters of Trump and many conservative commentators quickly dismissed De Niro's remarks as just another example of Hollywood's supposed elitism, accusing him of being out of touch with everyday Americans. For these critics, De Niro, a wealthy actor, symbolizes a cultural class that looks down on those who support Trump. They argue that his celebrity status distorts his understanding of the struggles faced by working-class voters, painting him as an out-of-touch figure who is disconnected from the realities of American life. On the other hand, De Niro's words resonated deeply with many of his liberal supporters, who saw his comments as a much-needed confrontation with what they view as the dangerous rise of extremist rhetoric within American politics. In a political climate where truth often feels elusive and manipulated, De Niro's bluntness was perceived by many as refreshing honesty. For those critical of Trump's influence, De Niro's remarks were not just about a former president. They symbolized a larger fight for the values that underpin American democracy. This divide in responses highlights the deepening polarization in American politics, where figures like De Niro, though polarizing themselves, serve as symbols of broader cultural and ideological battles. To some, his critiques reflect a genuine concern for the direction the nation is headed, while for others, they are an attack on the values they hold dear. At the heart of the debate is not merely political disagreement, but a clash of values about what America represents and the future it should pursue. Future of politics and celebrity activism. De Niro's recent remarks highlight the growing trend of celebrity activism, where public figures use their platforms to engage in political discourse and advocate for causes they believe in. With the rise of social media and the increasing interconnectedness of entertainment and politics, celebrities are wielding more influence than ever before. De Niro, with his long-standing fame and visibility, stands as one of the most prominent examples of this shift. His bold criticisms of Trump and Karoline Leavitt demonstrate how celebrities are no longer merely entertainers. They are active participants in shaping political conversations. This moment signals a deeper evolution in the way political engagement occurs in America. The influence of celebrities in politics is raising important questions about the role of public figures in shaping political narratives. While celebrities like De Niro speak out as private citizens, their significant platforms mean their words have wide-reaching effects. This dynamic raises the question of whether there is a responsibility for these figures to push for political change, or if their involvement risks becoming mere spectacle without substance. Additionally, the growing prominence of celebrity activism has profound implications for the way average Americans engage with politics. As celebrities weigh in on political issues, they can sway public opinion, inspire action, or spark controversy. This effect may increase political polarization, as people may align themselves with or against figures based on their celebrity status rather than the actual issues at hand. However, it also offers an opportunity for political engagement to become more accessible, with the potential to energize new, younger voters who feel more connected to these public figures. Ultimately, as entertainment and politics continue to overlap, the influence of celebrities like De Niro in political discourse seems set to grow, challenging traditional power structures and offering new forms of political participation. Robert De Niro's legacy extends far beyond his groundbreaking roles in iconic films like Taxi Driver, The Godfather, and Raging Bull. In recent years, his outspoken opposition to Donald Trump and his willingness to engage in political discourse have added a new dimension to his public persona. De Niro's vocal activism has positioned him as one of the most prominent Hollywood figures to challenge Trump's influence and advocate for progressive causes. His willingness to speak out on issues such as democracy, immigration, and climate change has amplified his impact in ways that mirror the rebellious, principled characters he often portrays in his films. This dual legacy, one of cinematic excellence and political activism, sets De Niro apart from many other actors. His advocacy feels deeply connected to the themes of justice and resistance that run through many of his most famous roles. Just as his characters fight corruption or oppression, De Niro's political voice fights against what he perceives as the damaging consequences of Trump's policies and rhetoric. Looking forward, it's clear that De Niro's influence will continue to shape American politics, whether through his public critiques or by inspiring others in the entertainment industry to speak out. His words, while divisive for some, have undeniably contributed to the ongoing political discourse, particularly in the context of Trump's legacy and the rise of figures like Karoline Leavitt. De Niro's activism, intertwined with his film legacy, ensures that his impact will be felt both in Hollywood and in the political arena for years to come. Robert De Niro's no-holds-barred criticism of Donald Trump and Karoline Leavitt has certainly set the media world ablaze, sparking a much-needed conversation about the state of American politics. Whether you agree with De Niro's views or not, it's clear that his willingness to speak out has had a powerful impact on how we think about political discourse in this country. So, what do you think of Robert De Niro's comments? Do you believe his words will have any lasting impact on Trump's political future, or will they simply add fuel to the fire of division? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of De Niro's bombshell moment, make sure to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest political news and entertainment updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.